Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking about the body image avatars today, which if you haven't seen the 4 body image avatars video that I made, go back and watch that. Today we're going to be going more in depth about the high achiever. The core unmet need for the high achiever is status and respect. Characteristics of the high achiever. Now, granted, this can look different for every individual person, but some of the patterns and themes that I tend to see are that they don't necessarily care about being attractive. They're not really focused on being pretty or sexy or hot. They're focused on looking in control or looking like they have their shit together, which is something I hear a lot, or looking disciplined. So there is a real desire to look good. There's a kind of moral thing about I want to look like a good person, a hardworking, disciplined, self-controlled person, because those are their values. They value all of those things, and so they're trying to have that be reflected in how they look. Also, I will often see these people being people who had a lot of really good grades, or, in their career, they were really high achievers. So there's often a pattern throughout life of being a high achiever that just also happens to show up in the space of body control. A lot of exercise, rigid exercise routines and plans. Like if they take a day off of exercise, they freak out and they're really overwhelmed by body image anxiety and really just wanting to control things, or at least look like they're controlling things so that other people perceive them as good or right or superior, even because there is kind of a superiority thing around I have to be better than other people. I have to excel at something. And a lot of high achievers will tell me I only ever excelled at my body. Like I only ever excelled at fitness, being thin, restricting food, whatever it is. Common limiting beliefs for the high achiever tend to focus on a binary of good and bad and right and wrong. The idea that it's more important to do things right than it is to do them the way you would want to do them. And that you have to be good. It's very important to be good and for other people to think you're good and definitely not think you're bad. This lends itself to a kind of universal justice feeling. Like if you are good and do things right, then you'll get everything you want in life. And if you are bad and do things wrong, that you won't. There's a lot of adherence to this system. And that ties in with a lot of the anti-fat bias and fat phobia around not wanting to look bad because fat people are bad and lazy and undisciplined, right? That kind of belief, negative bias towards folks in fatter bodies really tends to permeate for the high achiever as I must be good and make myself look good by being thin and controlling my weight and being really disciplined. Biggest fears that tend to show up for the high achiever are being considered normal or mediocre as opposed to special and, superior and exceptional. Also being seen as lazy tends to be a huge fear, and being seen as out of control. Some common paths to healing for the high achiever, and of course, this is different for everybody. It totally depends on what's really coming up for you, and things like layers of trauma or oppression or privilege are all going to play a role in this. But common paths to healing include reclaiming agency in your value system, which really means instead of believing the hierarchy of values that has been given to you, in which there is a right and a wrong and a good and a bad, and you're a good student or a bad student, you're a good person or a bad person, really challenging that for yourself and coming up with your own value system that you can live by. So rejecting a lot of that stuff and really coming up with one that feels truthful to you, that does not make you constantly feel like you have to prove your worth or, prove your space on earth. Also, agency in the space of not holding yourself accountable for other people's feelings, because the high achiever will often feel like they have to manage other people's feelings or experiences, and they don't. So a big path of healing is letting go of that expectation that other people's feelings and experiences are your responsibility and having stronger boundaries there. Also, really letting go of the fact that you have to be special and different and better in order to be good enough. A major path to healing for the high achiever is recognizing that it's okay to be normal, to be human. It is not a bad thing. It's not shameful to be normal and human. And that actually it was just your ego asking you to be perfect and better in order to feel good enough. If this is helpful for you and you want more resources on the avatars, I am creating a avatars guide that will be coming out soon. And it will go way more in depth on each of the 4 avatars and what you can do to use that to actually improve your own body image. And if you're interested in that, just stay tuned. That's it. If you resonate with the high achiever, go ahead and leave a comment sharing your experience. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe and that little bell that will give you a notification when the rest of these avatar videos go up. See you next time.